a beautiful day here in Connecticut, but hopefully it's nicer where you are. And I hope you're having a productive week. I always look forward to these CEO check ins to hear what's going on with you. I know what's going on with me, which is I am getting ready to move back to New York City in about 10 days. And that feels exciting because I miss my home, I miss New York. I'm excited to get a different routine going. I think we're probably all getting a little bit sick of whatever routine we have. And even though I feel so lucky to be here with my mom and my boys in Connecticut, I'm ready for a new routine and also to get back to my studio I usually film in. I have a home studio and just kind of get back to a different version of normal, not the normal from before, but a new, different version of normal, slightly different than this one. Anyway, I really hope you and yours are safe and that today is off to a good start for you. And in a few minutes, we're going to go live. Hi, Rabia. Hi, B. When I say go live, I mean we're going to bring someone on for coaching, which is one of my favorite parts of CEO Check-In. But first, I always like to start with a little mindset teaching. And today I want to talk about a really important part of your brain that does not get enough attention. And that is called the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. If you've never heard of this, it's like a little group of neurons at the back of your brain, right at the back. It's kind of where like the neck meets the cranial part, right where your neck connects with the base of your crane, if you can feel that right there in the back of your head. And here's what the RAS does. The RAS is a filtering mechanism. It's called Reticular Activating System. And the way it works is there are like about 11 million bits of information coming at us at any one time. Every second, we're taking in 11 million bits of information. Think about it, right? There's like the light coming in your window. There's the thoughts inside your head about the things you need to do today. There's the crumbs on the floor. There's the laundry that needs doing. There's just all this information around you. The thing is, though, we can only take in 126 bits per second. So there's 11 million bits coming at us, right? And we can really only process 126 bits per second. So you might be wondering, well, what happens to all those millions of bits of information that we can't even absorb or process? And that's where the RAS comes in. Our reticular activating system is doing a constant job of deleting, filtering, and deleting, distorting, and editing so that we can just focus on the 126 bits that we need to make a decision, to get through our day, to make sure that we're fed, right? We need a certain amount of concentration and energy and focus to get done the things we need to get done. So when you become aware of this, the reason this is an important mindset thing to know about is that your RAS is totally different from the RAS of your mother, your sister, your colleagues, your partner in crime, in life, or in business. Everybody's got a different RAS. So while you might think that you can highly influence other people's behavior or convince them of things, you never know what their RAS is going to do with the information that you give to them. And so it's just not entirely in your control. And in some ways that's frustrating, right? It's like, well, but if I make a good argument, then surely I can win this person over to my side. Well, except that you don't know what their RAS is going to do with that information. They may delete information of what you told them in such a way that they completely reshape the meaning, right? If we said the RAS is constantly deleting, distorting, and editing, think about that. So it's deleting some of what you say or some of those bits coming in. It's distorting others because we all come with a life experience that makes us take in information in a certain way, right? If every time you ate pistachio ice cream, you broke out in hives, well, probably just looking at pistachio ice cream, you're going to have a bad feeling, right? So if I even show you a pistachio, you're not going to see something beautiful. You're going to distort that image and start to say, oh, that's a bad, scary thing, right? Or let's talk about the editing. Maybe if someone says to you, wow, you're so good at public speaking, but ever since you were little, you felt like you were terrible at public speaking, you're not going to believe them. You're going to distort that, or you're going to edit out the nice things they say. So the reason this is actually freeing as a mindset thing, knowing about the RAS, is that it allows you to sometimes say, you know what, I actually don't have control over this situation. This person is creating a whole scenario that I don't have control over. And it also means you can sometimes let go of the idea that you need to show up in a certain way, because no matter how you show up, let's say you're afraid you're not articulate enough, or you're not smart enough, or you're not brave enough, the truth is everybody's going to interpret you an entirely different way anyway, depending on their RAS. So I'm hoping you'll use this to just kind of let go of some judgment of yourself, of how other people see you, because you'll never know how they see you unless you could go sit inside their RAS and see how they are distorting, deleting, and editing information. You'll really never know. So I hope you'll use this to kind of take some bold move, make some bold moves, take some leaps. I know that when I learned this, it helped me realize, like, I just need to be me, because if everybody's interpreting the world in an entirely different way, then I'm not going to worry too much about that. It kind of goes hand in hand with one of my mantras, which is, what other people think of you is none of your business, right? What other people think of you is none of your business, because you can make yourself crazy thinking about how you're being perceived when in fact, they've all got different RASs. You'll never really know. All that really matters is to understand yourself better and be true to who you are and become like that biggest, bravest version of yourself. So that's our mindset teaching today. If you've heard of RAS, great. If you've never heard of it, you can go look it up. This is a big part of what is taught in neurolinguistic programming, NLP. I'm a master practitioner of NLP, and I use a lot of NLP in my coaching. So speaking of coaching, we have somebody who said she wanted to go live today. Hi, B. So I'm just waving to some folks here on Instagram. And B, if you are ready, I know last time you were on your computer and we decided, okay, that did not work to go live, but hopefully today we can go live. So send me a little request. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Marion on Facebook. And hopefully we can do some live coaching. Marion asked me on Facebook, did you work in advertising? No, I never worked in advertising. Why do you ask? And here comes B. So we're going to have B come on. And I will get back to you, Marion. All right, let's see. The internet is connecting us. Let's hope that the internet's RAS wants to let these bits through today and let B come on live for some coaching. It says waiting for. Here we go, connecting. Hello, we got it to work. Great job. Awesome. How are you today, B?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Can't complain. What's going on in your world?
Well, I'm trying to pivot my business. We have been doing live workshops, teaching women home repair, home improvement, and auto maintenance skills. And part of what made us different, aside from women teaching it, was that we created this really warm and supportive environment where there was no such thing as a stupid question, and mistakes were opportunities to learn.
How cool.
It was just this community of women.
And where are you based, B? Where was this happening?
So we're based in Chattanooga, but we have customers from other parts of Tennessee, quite far away, Alabama, and also Georgia.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So what we're finding is, so part of what made us different is, like on YouTube, you can't ask questions like a live person, you can have an expert. So now I'm having to pivot and trying to figure out the best way to do this. I'm, was initially planning to do perhaps some live Zoom, some of our lecture-based workshops, supposed to the hands-on. And this morning, after listening to your mindset video, yesterday, I had this epiphany that even though it's not preferable to do the hands-on workshops live because it goes against who we are, right now it doesn't matter because this is all we have.
Wait, what do you mean by it goes against who we are, the live workshops?
So who we are is that hands-on experience. We're not YouTube. You're able to ask, a real person questions and
I see.
the other.
You want there to be like a real-time experience where, you get stuck, you're trying to repair something, you can't figure it out, and then they can right away in that moment ask you like, hey, how do I get through this? Is that what you mean?
No, so our workshops, that's a dream farther on.
Okay.
But so we do things like teach plumbing basics, how to use a chainsaw safely, and those are among the hands-on workshops. We teach how to change light switches and outlets.
I love it. This is so cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's
We're the
awesome.
only one like it in the country. It's
Yeah, give us the name of the company for people watching in case they didn't see your handle pop up. Tell us the name of the company, B.
so it's Women Repair Zone.
Excellent. Okay, and is your website womenrepairzone.com?
It is, yes, yes.
Excellent. Well, and I know a lot more people are going to be hearing about you soon, not only because we all have to do a lot more of our own repairs, but also I know you just joined a Million Dollar Women Masterclass, so we're going to be helping you
Yes, I'm very
scale it
excited.
up.
Thank
We're
you.
very excited to have you with us. Yeah. So what is so help me understand the question for today so I can be helpful.
So some workshops I'm going to have to do taped,
Hmm.
which makes me very much like YouTube then. I have one instructor who does a lot of our lecture-based workshops who's is a victim of domestic violence. She can't be, her face can't be on social media.
Okay.
And I need to do those workshops taped, and I'm trying to figure out how is that really within who we are, because I don't want to be YouTube. The other is I've just decided that I'm going to go do the live workshops of some of our hands-on classes, but I don't want our instructors going to stores to buy things now. I'm very focused on the health and safety of our customers and also our instructors.
Yes.
So there's a lot of restrictions, and so doing the videotaping, I would not go to somebody's house to do it. I would have them do it.
Sure.
Logistics. How do you do these things?
Well,
So I'm trying to.
so B, let me make sure I understand the question. So it seems like you're a little bit mourning the business that you had because you really wanted to do this in a very live, hands-on, interactive way. And now you're a little concerned that with this new model you're inventing, it's going to feel just sort of like something someone watches on YouTube where there isn't really that interactivity and someone helping them get through the learning. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Well, I do think that one thing that could be helpful would be to think of your business like a whole new business model right now. And I know that can be a little scary, but the framework we've been using in Million Dollar Women, and we're going to talk more about this Friday. So please join us for the 1 hour workshop on Friday. And for anyone watching, we're doing a free 1 hour workshop called Thrive, Making Money in the New Normal. So just email Maddie if you want a link, MADDY at juliapim.com, or look on Eventbrite. It's totally free. So one of the things we're going to be talking about there is how we need to all think of our businesses right now like a startup. And what I mean by that is when you first started, how many years old did you say you were with the business?
We'll be 2 years old in June.
2 years. Okay, so you still really were pretty recent, right? Your business hasn't been around that long. But we have people in our community who've had businesses 8 years, 10 years. So they were like a well-oiled machine, right? And now all of a sudden they have to reinvent, and it's very hard. So the framework we've come up with that we found is helpful is to just take your entire business and the model that you were using and just really set it aside. Right? I mean, you can mourn it because certainly, I miss my business as it was, right? We were supposed to have that summit in person. I couldn't wait to walk in the room and see these hundreds of women. So I do mourn that. But I also set it aside because I was like, you know what? The women I coach still need this amazing experience and I need to give it to them, but in a whole new way. So we thought of our summit as like the first ever Million Dollar Women virtual summit instead of a shell of the Million Dollar Women in Person Summit. So what I'd like to invite you to do, and for everyone listening who has a business, is kind of set your business model aside, grieve a little if you need to, take a day or a week or whatever you need to feel sad about what you can't do anymore. But then get some of that startup good energy, right? Like when you have a startup, when you first start your business, you're working all kinds of crazy hours and you don't care because you're so excited about finding the right way to make this work, right? And you're constantly talking to your customers and changing things and trying things. So I'd love to see what happens if you take that framework, B, and just start thinking like, okay, what if I was building this business from scratch today? And my number one concern was just, how do I reach the most women? Right? And just answer that question. And maybe try to resist saying things like, oh, but now we're like YouTube, right? Because that has like negative energy around it. I would just say, try not to judge any of the thoughts you have about what it could look like. This new startup version of your startup, right? In your case, you're just creating another startup. But, the word startup has some positive connotations to it, right? It means like you're brave, you're bold, you're trying something new. Plus, it's scalable. Startups are things people invest money in. Startups sometimes make millions of dollars. So we kind of all have an opportunity here to come up with a whole new model that if we can get excited about it, we may come up with something we'll want to keep far into the future, either instead of our other business model, which is still sitting there off to the side, ready to go back to, or some hybrid of the two, right? You never know where this will lead. Could you try to do that, B?
I can. So I've mostly made that mental pivot.
Good.
I'm just trying to work through finding the technical expertise I need to be able to make this work.
Well, I have good news, which is in our $1 Million Women Masterclass community, we have a lot of people with high technical expertise. So that should not be that hard. Yeah, we have one woman who her entire business is to help small businesses to make videos and to make very professional videos without spending a lot of money. So we'll put you in touch with her in the Facebook group. And as always with our businesses, really it's about having that vision, right? And mapping it out. And then you can always find the people to help you execute on it. That's never going to be that big a hurdle. So, I hope you don't get stuck on that thought, because that one's going to be not that hard. You're doing the bigger, harder one, it sounds like, which is just get your brain around a whole new business model and get excited about it. And then great things will happen. Awesome. Great. Well, can't wait to see you in class. And thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome.
Bye, B. Have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Super. That was fun. It's true that for everybody who's changing their business model, there may be things that you're trying that you feel like, oh, well, I tried that before and it didn't work. Or I tried that and I didn't like it, right? Like B was talking about using YouTube and she didn't really like that. But the truth is, if you were to start over your business today, maybe some of those tools you would like. Or maybe there are things that you eliminated in the early days of your business. Like, for instance, I eliminated the idea early in my business of going live, doing exactly what I'm doing right now, because I thought, well, I'm not going to like it. I don't have time. It's not a good use of my time, blah, blah, blah. As it turns out, because of COVID-19, I decided to start doing lives, and I really like it, and it's a great way to connect with the community. And I've got lots of awesome people coming on Facebook, so let me just say hi. Hi, Lizabella. Hey, Kathleen, and thank you for saying, Kathleen, saying, yes, love the embrace of the new business model. Kathleen works with large hotels doing their flooring, and she had to put all that on pause because all the large hotels are closed. So she started making masks and has actually been making really beautiful masks. I got some, so thank you, Kathleen. And so she's going to keep the mask making going on the side, but she also has gone back to her core business because now there are places that are starting to order from her again. So I hope that'll be the case for you. If you're watching and you're like, hey, my people aren't ordering from me again yet, they will, right? It will come back. It may not come back all at once. I'm sure she's not doing the volume of business that she was doing a year ago, but it's all starting to come back. And so while we have this precious window of time where it's like, this is not business as usual in any way, shape, or form, how can we have thinking that's not business as usual, right? How can we revisit ideas that we may have rejected? How can we ask this big important question of like, if I were to start today, how would I conceive my business differently? I always think of, oh, hi, Anna. Anna says, important to grieve the old so you can get excited about the new. Yes, absolutely. If we skip the grieving part, then it's very hard to have the good energy around the new because you're stuffing down all that sadness and that pain about the business that you miss. So please, please don't skip that part. But when you're ready for the good energy, join us at CEO Check-In and also at our Thrive workshop on Friday. Just write to Maddie, M-A-D-D-Y, at juliapim.com so we can send you an invitation to that free workshop, because our entire community at $1 Million Women is fired up, making pivots, marketing, selling things, finding ways to stay connected to customers. And look, we also have to have like a slightly different definition right now of what success is, right? I don't think anybody's making what they were making, in this quarter of 2019. It's just a whole different world. But maybe right now, success is coming up with new ideas that could pay off in 2021 if you start to build towards them. Maybe success is learning how to use technology in a way you haven't before, right? I'm going live right now on Instagram and Facebook. My 15-year-old taught me how to set this up, right? Because he's become my IT expert since this all went down. I used to have a team of people to help me with this stuff. Right now, it's just me. So I've learned a lot, and I've embraced things that I was a little afraid of before. So what is that thing for you, right? Have you heard everyone talking about their CRM, right? Their customer relations management system, and maybe you don't have one. Maybe you've heard everybody talking about, using Zoom for teaching, but you've never done it. This is that precious window to try those things. And then when we're all back to some semblance of normal, you'll have these new tools in your toolkit. Let's see. Let's see if I'm getting other questions on Instagram or Facebook. And if somebody else wants to go live, we have time for one other person. My kids, use the bandwidth for their math and humanities classes and everything they have after lunch. So I can't stay off past 12:30, but I have until 12:30. Also, if you have questions about the reticular activating system, I would be happy to hear those and answer those. Okay, here we go. Marianne's coming on. Hello, Marianne. Welcome. Please tell us where you're calling in from and what your business is. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Yes, I can hear you great. Please tell us where you're calling in from and what your business is.
Yes, so I'm Marianne Keyline. I'm calling from California, Redding, California, Northern California. And my husband and I started a nonprofit. It's a film arts organization where students learn all the different facets of movie making and start from start to finish. And then we submit the projects to film festivals.
Oh, fantastic. I love that. I'm a former filmmaker, so that speaks to my heart. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and we feel, so two things that make us kind of unique is, one, we are focusing on not only just like the technical skills of the filmmaking, but also the character development and leadership skills, so that students can use the skills in any life career. And then also we work with building relationships with international schools. So each project is done in collaboration with an international school in another country.
Oh my God, so amazing. I love that. And are you still up and running during this time, or what are you doing? Are kids like filming things at home?
Yes, so fortunately we've been a lot online with the international stuff already. So actually this is kind of a neat time. We're just expanding on that, and actually our summer camps that we do typically are in person, but we wanted to do an online one for a long time. So we're rolling that out this summer, trying to.
Oh, so you've already committed to changing the business model during this time so you can do your summer camp virtually.
Yes.
Good for you.
See how it goes.
Good for you. That's awesome. How can I be helpful?
We're both teachers, and so as we've started this, we've kept our other jobs, to kind of get it going and things. And so we're trying to make a business plan, organizational plan to hopefully do this so that we could make it full time for us eventually.
Great.
And so as I'm doing the business plan, I'm finding that I get kind of bogged down with the details, and I wondered if you could talk a little bit on just general business plan advice, or if you know some resources for getting some help with that, because I find myself kind of being bogged down in the details of it. And I really appreciate what you said earlier to some of the other women about this being sort of a startup time is a time when you don't have it all dialed in.
That's right.
Some of our product, and we've been doing this for about 7 years. We incorporated in 2017.
Oh, great. So you have some really good track record. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think with a business plan, the best thing you can do is to come up with what an ideal scenario would be. And then, if you don't hit that exactly, then at least, you know what you're driving at. So you might say something like, by 2022, we aim to have, 100 kids going through the summer camp per year, this many in person, this many virtual, to map out what each of them is paying, right? And then what the amount of money is that you'd be making. And then you can do kind of like a best, medium, and low case scenario. I think where people get tripped up in their business plans is they feel like, well, I'm shooting in the dark. Like, how do I know how much it's going to make, right? I don't know how many people I'm going to sign up, in your case. But if you have this best, medium, and low case budget, then you can have this scenario where you're shooting for the best, right? But if you don't quite hit it, you also know what medium and low case are. I would also highly recommend reading some other business plans if you haven't already. Just go online and look at some of the ones that are posted. And then lastly, there are organizations that help you with this, like the Small Business Administration. There are women's organizations that help you get your business off the ground. What part of California did you say you were in?
It's northern, so north of San Francisco and Sacramento. We're like way up at the top.
Okay, great. Well, actually, one of our recent $1 Million Women Masterclass women is part of a organization in the Bay Area, I believe, and I think it's called Women Made. So maybe you might want to Google that one, because that helps women with their small businesses get them off the ground. But even if you just Google like resources for women entrepreneurs in your local area, I'm sure something will pop up, because this is the kind of thing where if you share that business plan with a mentor. Oh, you could also look up SCORE, SCORE. SCORE has free mentors who are people who are recently retired and want to give back. They're usually people who were very successful in business and want to kind of help the next generation. So a lot of women who come to us at $1 Million Women, they started with a free mentor at SCORE, and then that got them to, let's say, 100,000 or somewhere where they were making some good money, and then they come to us to kind of get to that next level. We work with women who are already making 75,000 and up, and then want to get to 500,000, 800,000, a million. But I hope some of those resources are helpful, and I'm really excited for you about the summer camp. That's going to make a lot of kids happy. I know my kids just learned last week their camps are canceled, and some not very happy faces around that. So, we're all doing the best we can to find alternative ideas, and it sounds like you have a really great one.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Well, good luck. Keep us posted. And if you want to join us for that free workshop on Friday about making money in the new normal, it's just email Maddie, M like Mary, ADDY, Maddie at Julia Pim, just the beginning of my name, .com.
Okay.
And I'll see you Friday.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Good morning. And bye. Have a good morning. It's only morning there, right? It's noon here, but it's only 9 a.m. there. So, or 9:30. Oh, look at that, with no students. Well, at least you got out of your house. Congratulations on that. Alrighty, bye. Take care. That reminds me that it's so cool that Kathleen's doing that summer camp for kids, making films and connecting them to people around the world. How inspiring. One of the reasons I want to go back to New York is that my office is next to my home. So I do plan on going into my office, which I'm very excited about. I'm working on my next book, and I figure I could take the book to the office and at least have a change of location, which we know right now is very, very precious, a change of location anywhere. And hi to all the people who are on Facebook, Marion, Kathleen, Anna, thank you for joining us. If this is your first CEO check-in, you can watch the old ones on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and put in Julia Pimsleur Coach, and they will all come up. Thanks for joining us, Karen, Beverly, Kathleen, Rabia, and Marianne. And I will see you guys again on Monday. Join us for our 1-hour workshop on Friday if you want some help making money in the new normal. And otherwise, I'll see you back here Monday and Wednesday of next week. Have a beautiful end of week. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.